Hello everybody, it's Trainers103 here today with I guess you can say the second installment of all you need to know about World of Warships. Today we're looking at the French armor layouts and basically why you can citadel with cruisers at long range but not at close range, and why battleships can kind of like reasonably troll their way through some of this thing's armor layout into the citadel. So let's get to it. Let's have a look at the main armor layout on the outside. 32mm absolutely everywhere, except, of course, the guns, the barbettes, the superstructure here, which is counted as superstructure, but these are secondary barbettes. You can see the secondary mount there. This one doesn't actually get a barbette because it's on top of the superstructure, as you can see, and that's an anti-aircraft gun. But other than that, it's 32mm standard with no kind of funky plating like the Germans with their extended bow armor here. No, the Japanese battlecruisers with extended bow armor, well, tapering aft armor over here. Nothing fancy like that. It's just 32mm everywhere, and everyone that's played in Amagi, Isthmo, Colorado, ships like, or even the Conquilol, ships like this know how much HE damage this will take. From the front, though, in terms of HE, there's still actually quite a lot of sizable area here that is HE damageable by larger caliber guns. Of course, when I'm talking about larger caliber, I mean basically anything that isn't a destroyer. Because 32mm of armor will be pierced by, 152 IFHE, 15.2 IFHE, 6-inch IFHE, 15.5 IFHE, 180s IFHE, 203s will naturally do it, 20.3s will naturally do it, 8-inch guns will naturally do it. Yes, I know that it's the exact same caliber. German will do it, will just naturally do it. I think the German 15s will actually go through it clean. So, there is that to keep in mind. So, what do you actually get with the armor layout that lets you citadel it when broadside, or even like slight angles like this, but the cruisers will start to struggle with this at longer range, mostly due to the fact that the cruisers, heavy cruisers, the Royal Navy's light cruisers, they don't really have the pen to be able to, do the citadel, go through the citadel, and I'll show you why. Now, let's just hide everything except the main plating here, just to prove the point I'm trying to make. There is nothing behind this 32mm plating on the armor itself. This is one thing, and I'll get to it with some German battleships after this, actually. Because I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen the Flamu clip on where he demonstrates this, and some of you guys may have seen Arun's video on German battleship armor. I'll show you an extra weakness of the Friedrich Grosse, which is in a very similar way to what I'm going to show you here. So let's hide that as well and show you this, because, this no one cares about, this no one cares about because it's too high up. So let's just show you this. You can see this is a 400mm belt. It is, when you look at it like this, highly sloped. Cruisers at long range can forget about going through this. Even the large cruisers can pretty much forget about doing anything to this. They can obviously go clean through that, because it's 400 plus 32. So, you have to be careful of that. However, and you can also see the turtleback, like a German one, but it's not as thick as the German ones, but this armor here is very thick and very well sloped, so, it's going to protect you from citadels for the most part regardless, because even if you go through that, you still have to go through either this 60th deck or this 50 or 40mm bulkhead. So, this is the size of the citadel. This is the outer armor. As we can see, there is nothing really additional here protecting it, because this only happens to sit above it. So what am I trying to get to? The point is, at long range, with the shells falling in like this, they'll go in like this, and they can slip underneath the tip of this belt, which you can see doesn't really extend that far down. It is still 350 thick, so cruisers aren't going through that at long range. But they can slip a shell by landing it here, underneath and into the citadel. Near the magazines on the front and the back on the Republique, it's 50, and the engineering is 40. So that's not a lot of armor. And again, exact same thing on the Alsace. In terms of the layout, you can see the main belt is 350, tapering into 275, which is Iowa is 297, slightly better, I believe. But you can see, again, 50mm citadel bulkhead. It's not as easy to do. This belt appears to go a little bit further into the water. But again, you can see here, by looking at it, there's nothing inside of it. It's not like the Henri, which has a 140mm belt behind, for those that did not know. Let's have a look at the Henri's armor layout in this kind of situation. You can see torpedo bulges external 19, with 45mm of armor. So if you look at this, you know, with everything up, you can see, you know, 30 millimeters armor belt plus 19 torpedo bolts there. You like hide that. Wait, what? It's 45. Wait, this is a large cruiser. Why does it get so crap armor? It doesn't. If we just hide everything else, you see right there, the belt is internal. It is right behind the torpedo bulge. So let's go to this here. You can see again 32 millimeters of outer plating. If you can see the citadel behind here is like this. There's a 30 millimeters plate on the engineering, but otherwise the magazines here at the front are 50, and the magazines area for the rear secondaries are also covered by 50. But if we just show you this again, there's nothing inside of here, and you can just shoot, you know, underneath. Oops, I don't want the barbettes. You can kind of slip shells underneath. Again, it's not always as easy, but you can kind of, with, it's not reliable. You know, any heavy cruiser can slip a shell theoretically underneath this and actually get some awkward citadels. But you can see this does fit quite a bit more in the water. Looking at the Leon, you can see, again, these are starting to slip much further into the water, where there's no point in even bothering. You're much better off just trying to shoot them above their belts here into the 32 millimeters plating areas, just to get more AP damage. Because you shoot them here, you're still going to get deflection of the main belt. So just keep that in mind. And also, let's have a look at the Bismarck class, just to give you an idea of what I'm saying. You can see the armor belt here goes pretty far down, but if I was to hide this, you can see, and this exposes the citadel, you can see the size of it is about the same. However, if I just show you this, you can think that, you know, hey, yo, you can still slip a shell underneath here. You can't, because all of a sudden you get this extra plated belt, which pretty much prevents it. A cruiser will no longer really be able to slip a shell underneath that anymore. So, you know, your cruiser's going to just struggle to be able to go through that at long range. But why is the Free District also relevant in this? Well, it's relevant because, as you can see here, that's the main belt. You can visually see based on that, and if I extend it, you'll see it extends about as far down as the Republique. You just have to be careful targeting the magazine area, if this is where you end up hitting, that the shells kind of have to go through 38 millimeters of lower, and then underneath that into the bulkhead here. But if we just hide everything else, you can see that underneath the belt there, again, you can see really isn't much additional on top of that, because this just simply doesn't exist further down. And the barbettes, of course, as I hide it, they are not covering the area as well. So if you guys enjoyed this, found it educational, if you did, subscribe to my channel. I do post regular content with regards to replay analysis. We go through replays of viewers, sending them in with comments on what they did well, what went wrong. If you'd like me to comment on your replays like that, there will be a email address in the description below. Send your replays in there and I'll have a look at them. Make sure you give them a good title and a description of what you want to have reviewed. Replays that ask for specific, well, help, if you want, will have a higher chance of being reviewed earlier than replays that are just sent in with no description. And also stream on twitch.tv/strangers123. Tune in there, and I'm sure we can have some fun times together. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Take care, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.